There must be 1,000 health benefits of the yarrow plant. I'm not kidding. This plant continually surprises me with all that it can do. I'm excited to share lots about yarrow, including favorite present-day uses like a yarrow tea for colds and flu. Stay tuned. Current medical research, and even traditional historical uses. We're doing a deep dive into the health benefits of the yarrow plant in this episode, so grab your notebooks. Hello and welcome to the Herbs with Rosalee podcast, a show exploring how herbs heal as medicine, as food, and through nature connection. I'm your host, Rosalee de la Forêt. I created this YouTube channel to share trusted herbal wisdom so that you can get the best results when relying on herbs for your health. I love offering up practical knowledge to help you dive deeper into the world of medicinal plants and seasonal living. Each episode of the Herbs with Rosalee podcast is shared on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast app. Transcripts and recipes for each episode can be found at herbswithrosaleepodcast.com or through the link in the video description. Also in the video description, you'll find other helpful resources. For example, to get my best herbal tips, as well as fun bonuses, be sure to sign up for my weekly herbal newsletter. Okay, grab your cup of tea and let's dive in. The yarrow plant grows commonly all over the world and has been used as medicine by humans for tens of thousands of years. We even know for sure that Neanderthals were using yarrow as long as 50,000 years ago. Yarrow is boldly aromatic and makes a powerful harmonizing medicine for a wide range of issues, including acute injuries as well as chronic health challenges. Many herbalists, including myself, consider yarrow to be a panacea herb, meaning an herb that can address many different conditions. Yarrow is a popular plant too. Do you have experience with the yarrow plant? I'd love to hear about it in the comments on YouTube or on the official podcast page, herbswithrosaleepodcast.com. Your comments mean a lot to me. I love cultivating a community of kind-hearted, plant-loving folks. Plus, it's always interesting and insightful to hear the experiences of plant lovers out there. And you never know, your suggestion may help others. Okay, let's dive in. Yarrow has some really interesting plant energetics. But I should back up just a bit. Herbal energetics refers to a plant's qualities in regards to its ability to cool, warm, dry, or moisten. Herbal energetics is the foundation of many systems of herbalism, including traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Western herbalism, and many more. If you've ever recognized that a cucumber is moist and cooling or that a cayenne pepper is hot, then you've experienced herbal energetics. I bring up cucumbers and peppers because they are fairly obvious in their herbal energetics. Many plants are, but yarrow is a different story. Yarrow can be both cooling and warming. It can also stop blood and promote blood flow. Okay, some of you are probably thinking, I've lost touch with reality to even suggest such a thing is possible, but I haven't. That's how cool and utterly unclassifiable the yarrow plant is. Above all, the yarrow plant is harmonizing. It brings balance to many situations. Okay, let's look at some practical ways that the health benefits of the yarrow plant can be used. And by the way, if you like to have this extensive information in your hands, including instructions for growing and harvesting yarrow, then my second book, Wild Remedies, includes an entire chapter all about yarrow. For thousands of years, yarrow has been the go-to herb to heal wounds and stop bleeding. It has been called by many names over the centuries, including the practically descriptive words like spearwort, staunchweed, and woundwort. With this single plant in hand, it's like having an entire medicine chest for healing injuries. Here's the many ways it works. The yarrow plant is a styptic herb, which means it helps to stop bleeding. When used as a topical poultice, both fresh and dried, yarrow can encourage blood to coagulate, helping to stop bleeding. This is a really helpful tip for hikers who may be too far from medical care. I've seen it work in some pretty dramatic situations. Using yarrow to stop bleeding can be as simple as macerating the leaves and flowers and applying them to the area. It's also famous for stopping nosebleeds. You can also use the powdered yarrow plant to stop bleeding. If you haven't already listened in, check out the interview I did with Guido Maze about how to make this yourself. He also shares how to use dried yarrow stalks for the I Ching, the ancient Chinese divination text. Another health benefit of the yarrow plant for wounds is as an antimicrobial to keep wounds clear of infection. It can also be used to address signs of infection such as heat, redness, or yellow discharge. Yarrow was famously used in Roman battlefields, and many since, and has long been thought of as a soldier's herb. In the 1st century, Dioscorides recommended to pound the leaves and put them on a fresh wound to close and heal the wound, clear it from heat and inflammation, and congeal the blood. In more modern days, herbalist Seven Song has used yarrow extensively for first aid, including as a hot tea soak for wounds, as well as for animal bites and scratches that are prone to infection. Recent studies have further confirmed yarrow's gifts for healing wounds. One study showed that the oil infused with yarrow was effective in reducing skin inflammation. Another study demonstrated that yarrow, in combination with St. John's wort, Hypericum perforatum, increased the healing time of an episiotomy. In addition to healing wounds, yarrow also has broad benefits for skin health. As a diaphoretic herb, it brings circulation to the skin to induce sweating, which can relieve stagnation and promote skin health. A 2021 review of yarrow determined that yarrow has potential for skin health due to several qualities, including being skin calming, anti-inflammatory, skin rejuvenating, antimicrobial, and as an antioxidant. Remember how I said yarrow is harmonizing? Well, here's a great example of that. While yarrow is famous for stopping external bleeding, it's also commonly used to move stagnant blood, such as bruises, varicose veins, blood blisters, hemorrhoids, and even fibroids. As Maria Noel Groves writes in her book, Body into Balance, as a blood regulator, yarrow helps clot when things need to be clotted, improve circulation and blood flow when needed, and also strengthens the lining of blood vessels and capillaries. The health benefits of the yarrow plant also includes relieving many symptoms of a cold or the flu. Here's 4 ways you can work with yarrow. The first is as a gargle or throat spray to soothe a sore throat. The second is as a warm cup of tea to support the fever process. My favorite recipe for this is coming up soon. Thirdly, the yarrow plant can also be used for coughs. Eclectic herbalist Finley Ellingwood recommended a syrup of the leaves for a chronic cough accompanied by bloody sputum. Herbalist Jeremy Ross combines yarrow with Angelica archangelica, for cold, damp phlegm in the lungs, and with pleurisy root, Asclepias tuberosa, for fevers and bronchial phlegm. Fourth, a 2019 study showed that an herbal formula that included yarrow was a safe and effective complementary product for the treatment of acute non-bacterial tonsillitis in children aged 6 to 18 years. I know that the coronavirus is on a lot of minds these days. A 2022 preliminary study looked at yarrow to see if it had potential benefit against the coronavirus. The researchers felt that the antiviral and anti-inflammatory properties of yarrow was significant enough to call for further research. I look forward to seeing how that develops. So far, we've covered working with yarrow for many types of wounds and injuries, for colds and flus, but we're just getting started. The yarrow plant is one of my favorite herbs for addressing urinary tract infections. I often recommend it with uva ursi, Arctostaphylos uva ursi, and a demulcent such as marshmallow, Althea officinalis. It's a urinary astringent and antiseptic, helping to dispel the infection while toning the tissues. And when taken lukewarm or cool, it acts as a diuretic, promoting healthy urination while tonifying the tissues. Eclectic herbalists use yarrow for a variety of urinary complaints, including irritation of the kidneys and urethra, suppression of urine, and chronic diseases of the urinary apparatus. One study has shown there is possible benefits of using yarrow for people with kidney disease. Yarrow's ability to stop bleeding, heal wounds, abate infections, and address many symptoms of colds and flu often get highlighted, but there's a lot more to yarrow. The bitter and aromatic qualities of yarrow can be used to support healthy digestion. It can be added to bitter blends or taken as a tea. One preliminary study showed that some benefits of using an herbal blend, including yarrow, ginger, and boswellia, in patients diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. Eclectic herbalists use yarrow for people with dysentery. An in vitro study in 2021 showed that the yarrow plant has benefits as a prebiotic in the digestive system. The researchers concluded that this could be helpful for people with digestive fungal imbalance. Yarrow's gifts of harmonizing the blood make it useful for a wide range of uterine health issues. Eclectic herbalists used it for both urinary hemorrhage and leukorrhea. Dr. Aviva Ram recommends it as a topical treatment for varicosities related to pregnancy. One double-blind clinical trial found that yarrow was effective at relieving pain associated with menstrual cramps. A 2021 study showed that yarrow can help breastfeeding parents who have nipple fissures. Yarrow is great for oral tissues. It's astringent, meaning it tightens the tissues like gums. It's an anodyne, meaning it can relieve pain. And as already shared, it has antimicrobial properties. One study showed that a distillate of yarrow healed the symptoms of oral mucositis in chemotherapy patients faster than simply using the routine solution. In researching this episode, I came across an interesting 2019 clinical trial looking at the effect yarrow has on people who have multiple sclerosis, or MS. This triple-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled parallel group trial, that's a mouthful, involved 75 people with MS. They were split into 3 groups. One group received a placebo. One group received 250 milligrams a day of yarrow, and another group received 500 milligrams a day of yarrow. The study showed that after 1 year, the patients that were taking either dose of yarrow had a significant decrease in the relapse rate as compared to those taking the placebo. Those taking 500 milligrams of yarrow a day did slightly better than those taking the lower dose. Now, I don't know of this being put into significant clinical practice yet, but I'm really excited to see how this develops. There's been some interesting preliminary research regarding yarrow and cancer. For example, there are in vitro studies showing that yarrow inhibits growth of human tumor cell lines by interfering with cell cycle and inducing apoptosis. Further positive effects have been seen against melanoma, prostate, uterine, and cervical cancer cell lines. Remember, this is preliminary in vitro research, so no claims are being made about yarrow curing cancers, but it will be interesting to see how this line of research continues. As I mentioned earlier, a human clinical trial showed that gargling a distillate of yarrow healed oral mucositis in chemotherapy patients more quickly than the routine solution. And here's an interesting study for you. Published in January of 2022, this study evaluated how yarrow could help patients with metastatic cancer deal with related fatigue. People were split into 2 groups, one receiving yarrow treatment and the other not receiving treatment. Those getting the yarrow treatment saw increased sympathetic activity during the day, which could help with fatigue. The interesting thing about this trial was how they worked with the yarrow. They used it as an external poultice over the liver, which is a traditional use. As you've seen, yarrow heals wounds, harmonizes the blood, rejuvenates the skin, relieves cold and flu symptoms, promotes digestion, and has shown benefit for people with cancer and multiple sclerosis. What doesn't this plant do? Seriously! In the following sections, I'll share tips for identifying yarrow, how to know whether or not you can use different colored yarrows, some cautions for working with yarrow, and share my favorite yarrow tea for colds and the flu. Yarrow is in the Asteraceae or daisy plant family. The genus of the yarrow plant, Achillea, may refer to the Greek war hero Achilles or to his soldiers using yarrow for their wounds. The Kew Botanic Gardens of London recognizes over 150 different species of plants in the Achillea genus. Achillea millefolium is the species most often used by herbalists. Yarrow loves to grow in sunny fields and meadows, although it can tolerate some shade as well. It commonly grows all over the globe. It reaches 1 to 3 feet in height and is a perennial herbaceous herb, meaning it dies back each year, but emerges again in the spring from the roots. The flowers grow as a compound corymb and are most often white, but can have some pinkish hues to them. Yarrow has both the ray and disc flowers characteristic of the Asteraceae. The species name, millefolium, means 1,000 leaves, referring to the finely divided feather-like leaves of yarrow. In the spring, they emerge from the ground. They also grow along the flower stem. The plant often spreads by its rhizomaceous roots. I'm often asked if yarrows with different colors of flowers can be similarly used. My best advice is to follow your senses. I recently had a group of herbal students over for an afternoon plant walk. I had them smell and taste both the wild yarrow growing in a dry field and the pink cultivated yarrow I'd bought from a nursery. The consensus was that the pink cultivated yarrow smelled sweeter and softer, while the wild yarrow had a stronger, more aromatic scent. The difference was very noticeable. Like all plants, yarrow's strength and aromatics change wherever it grows, and it becomes stronger under difficult growing conditions. That's why using our senses to get to know plants is so important. So I recommend getting familiar with the wild yarrow plant with the white flowers, and then branching out into other yarrows once you have a good feel for how this medicine tastes, acts, and feels. In that way, you can compare it to other yarrows and draw your own conclusions. If you want some help getting started with knowing plants through your senses, then check out my free Herbal Jumpstart course. This is a practical, short course that will grow your herbal knowledge tenfold. See the notes in the video description or at herbswithrosaleepodcast.com to sign up. With its head of white flowers, the yarrow plant has a passing resemblance to some poisonous plants like poison hemlock and water hemlock. Poison hemlock and water hemlock are both members of the Umbelliferae, or carrot family, and their flowers are compound umbels, not a corymb like yarrow. As always, you want to be 100% certain that you are identifying and harvesting the correct plant. Simply knowing the difference between a corymb flower and an umbel flower will really serve you. Two other cautions for yarrow are that yarrow has not been shown to be safe during pregnancy, and those who are sensitive to plants in the Asteraceae want to use caution when first starting to work with yarrow. People have been relying on yarrow tea for colds and the flu for hundreds of years. That's because it works so well. For many, this is the cup of tea they automatically reach for when they're feeling like they're coming down with something. This particular recipe comes straight from my second book, Wild Remedies: How to Forage Healing Foods and Craft Your Own Herbal Medicine, which is co-authored with Emily Hahn. This book is perfect for you if you want to learn more about plants growing near you. Included in each herbal chapter is safety information, sustainable harvest instructions, and lots of fun and easy recipes like this one. Here's what you'll need to make the tea. 1/4 cup of dried yarrow leaves and flowers. 1/4 cup of dried elderflowers. 2 tablespoons dried rose hips, cut and sifted, or 1/4 cup of dried whole rose hips. A large pinch of dried mint, 2 cups water, and honey to taste, which is optional. Here's how to make the tea. Place all of the herbs into a pint jar. Bring 2 cups of water to a boil. Pour the water over the herbs, stir well, cover, and let steep for 30 minutes. Then strain, add honey to taste if you want, and then sip while warm. This recipe is our version of a very old Western formula for colds and flu. It's effective for relieving general discomfort, but gentle enough for most people and even children. Both elderflowers and yarrow are relaxing diaphoretics, making this blend especially well suited for people with fevers who feel hot and restless. For best results, sip this frequently over the course of an hour or so, rather than all at once. Putting in a small thermos will keep it warm. Peppermint, spearmint, lemon balm, or even bee balm, Monarda fistulosa, are wonderful mints to use in this blend. This is a very strong tasting tea, so if you have a sensitive palate, you might want to start with a little less yarrow or steep it for less time. It'll be less bitter that way. But if you can tolerate the bitterness, then I highly recommend it at full strength. If you'd like a free printable recipe card of this yarrow tea for colds and flu recipe, then visit the link in the video description or pick up a copy of our book, Wild Remedies, to get more insights and recipes for yarrow and many other plants. Also in the video description, I've included other helpful links like where you can buy yarrow, as well as both of my books. If you enjoyed this video on the health benefits of the yarrow plant and you value trusted herbal information, then I hope you'll stick around. The best way to get started is to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you can be the first to get my best herbal insights and recipes. Here's your Yarrow Fun Fact. Yarrow grows as a native plant all over the world, and it attracts many beneficial pollinators from hoverflies to butterflies to beetles. But when applied topically to your skin, the aromatics of yarrow can be used as a mosquito repellent. That's just one other way that yarrow is wonderfully harmonizing.